Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 781, coming to you live from somewhere, nowhere, Las Vegas. I apologize if we are getting a little choppy on the Wi-Fi. I have butchered my hotel's Wi-Fi today to where when I was trying to upload a 9-minute and 40-second video, it was going to take 25 hours. So restarted everything. Hopefully I have a new ID and everything is fine on your end. I want to thank everyone for joining us today as everything sort of comes up. It has been an amazing day 2 of Money 2020 here in Las Vegas, with some great talks from the sentient stage of those talking about what's being built in AI, more specifically around tokenization of data, privacy, and agentic AI agents. Now, where these AI agents are being talked about is that they can be released to go build APIs that others that are completely used to call data by other agents or by users. And so one of the really cool things is what people have been building in closed sources, because they want to make sure that it is a safe piece to go. But what I am super excited about is where data privacy and data ownership is sort of being put on the forefront of some of these companies. Now, that's not the case in everyone, but it is an overall opinion and thought about. And that's one of the big things that makes it really important to everyone. Owning your data to where you are the user, not the product. And so one of the really big moments today, I would say, would be the interview with Hope King interviewing Gary Gensler today on the main stage. That was we did fully record that, but that is out there for people to watch and see. It was a really good interview where you could sort of see Hope's play towards Gary of trying to not necessarily dunk on him the entire time, but poke him and not sort of let him escape. And so she sort of was throwing a few punches here and there, but didn't make it just a downplay, you suck, the entire time, to where she could get answers out of him and keep the conversation flowing and bring some value to Money 2020. So huge shout out to Money 2020 for having Hope run that interview. One of the really awesome things we got to do after Hope interviewed Gary Gensler, as soon as she got off stage, we got to interview Hope. And so that was the interview we've been trying to upload all day. I was able to make a quick little 30-second clip of it and upload from my phone so that it was out there, getting ready for that drop. So hopefully we'll have that out tomorrow, hopefully. That would be one of the greatest things we hope we were able to do. There has been a lot of different movement pieces on what is coming out around AI. What we have seen is a lot of wrappers of ChatGPT. ChatGPT wrappers aren't really innovative. They're prompt bound. So you have different companies doing the same thing, using the same engine, but just a different frame around it. And so different ways of prompt. And we all know prompts can make or break the result. And so not saying that this is all bad or all good, but it is something to be aware of. But what's really awesome is that the talk of where having agents and AI work on your behalf includes having a DeFi wallet in some way, shape, or form. That crypto is the optimized and obvious choice for an agent to work on your behalf. And so super bullish on blockchain here at Money 2020. And we have seen time and time again a ton of people here at Money 2020 and companies that are bullish. We are going to be talking with the digital assets from Citibank, US Bank tomorrow as well. We have some talks with JP Morgan and their digital asset team. One of the really cool teams that we have an interview scheduled for tomorrow with is with FICO, and what they've been looking at for, FICO provides credit monitoring, credit reporting, as well as the FICO score. Are you credit worthy? There's a lot more within FICO that is coming out, and they are looking at a blockchain component. So right now, looking at on-chain credit being over-collateralized loans. We have some amazing protocols that do that, or attempt to do that. We see that it's all done as over-collateralized loans, meaning you put in $100 of a stable like USDC, and you can borrow $75 of something. Now, the hope on that is that you might wrap that for some sort of Degen box play, and you're hoping then that you're basically leveraging yourself and wrapping that, and then you're hoping that the price goes down enough that you can unwind it at a discount. It sort of sucks to do something like that on hoping that the price action goes down. We all want to see it all go up, like we've seen today, which has been an amazing day, which has people excited across the board. And so what if you could do on-chain credit, on-chain identity that result in on-chain under-collateralized or uncollateralized loans? I don't know if we're going to be at the point of collateralized loans, but an under-collateralized loan would be a really big step forward. I think that's one of the big things that we're excited to see in the coming year, and it's not that far off. People are talking about it. If institutions are talking about it, there's little projects out there that are building and doing it. This is one of the really cool things. The U.S. institutions right now are sort of handcuffed. So they have 20 different projects building, and like 10 variations of each project, because they don't know what the sandbox is that they can play in, the rules and regulations. And until those get defined and made, they won't know which sandbox they can play in. So once that happens, it is off to the races on who gets what out first. I was going over one of my older videos that I did with Matthew Tuttle from Tuttle Ventures, Tuttle Capital, the creator of the SGIM, aka the inverse Cramer. Basically, it is the ETF that goes against everything Jim Cramer says. And we were talking, this was last year, talking about the Bitcoin ETF. It was before it was earlier this year or late last year, before the Bitcoin ETF, that so many people were attempting to file theirs and get theirs launched first, but there wasn't going to be enough market for 25, 50 ETFs. And so what we're starting to see is dominance in ETFs, not necessarily like, oh, that was a bad one, but it appreciated and rolled into something that has better fee structure for people that want to partake in Bitcoin or Ethereum, but don't have the knowledge or the time at this time to have self-custody. And so we'll start to see that more and more in different ways. And I'm really excited for what comes in store for that. So the night ended with a great time at Tau, getting to talk to so many different companies. Huge shout out to Volt and Citi, as well as really good conversations with Circle. But highlight of the night is I got to meet, I don't know his YouTube name, but Michael. And he's in one of my connection groups, and we got to meet up as he just flew in today on Money 2020. And we got to hang out and talk for like, oh my gosh, 3 hours. And then we were complete degens as we came back over to the hotel and just went through the slot machine. But I had a great time with him. And as me and him get more and more acquainted, well, no, basically, when we just figure out how to have time, definitely going to try to bring him up and, have him on the show. We are going to jump over to Twitter because we do have someone requesting to come up. Boom, 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 boom. We have an 8chain fan friend going a little crazy. Kara, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey Taco, what's poppin'? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
Good, man. I'm super excited. I'm listening to you, and I was looking at. I saw Taco because I own mutants, and I saw I had a little bit of an airdrop allocation. I'm not sure if the window is ready yet, but there was something. Thanks to that.
So there is when I launched that, I actually put a 3-month window on that. My understanding right now is because Ape Express was having a little bit of issues with their claiming function that I don't know if they've turned it back on yet. But I do know that it is under maintenance at this moment.
That's all right. The gesture is what counts also at the end of the day. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk, I'm super deep into agents at the moment. Also, I started to get super curious. Obviously, that year when ChatGPT blew up and all these like generators came out and stuff. And I'm testing the new version of Claude right now. Setting up a virtual environment today, so it doesn't take over my whole computer. So it's like controlled environment. So I was wondering, is there any like ideas if you're familiar with all AI and things to link it to Taco? Maybe yes, maybe no, not at all planned. So what's the plan?
The AI that I use is Venice, Venice.ai. My company Manifest is tied to them. And so that was launched by Eric Voorhees, and the purpose behind that was the data privacy side. All data is stored on your browser rather than in some other server, and you're not the product piece. Claude has really excelled at is the user interface. I haven't really planned on putting tying Taco to an AI agent at this time, but it's not off the table. It's just one of those things where, I don't own enough of the supply, to do something like that at this moment. And, I'm slowly buying more and more because if you're not going to buy your own project, how can you expect anyone else to? And, it's just one of those things to where the plans for Taco haven't been defined, but they haven't been written off. If that makes any sense. They've been formulated, and so working to sort of support other 8chain projects, and hopefully gain support in return. But the idea behind Taco literally was having a little fun, but showing people how to launch a token on 8chain. We did that on, we launched within the first 24 hours of 8chain, of an Ape Express. And so I guess we fall into the OG category at this moment, but we sort of want to see, the long-term piece as I travel around going from blockchain conference to blockchain conference. It's one of those things to where how do we build out support for long-term holders and like long-term believers and build out something that might be able to be cool for them in some way, shape, or form, and the appreciation. How much I get hit up by marketers that want some of the token in exchange for work, and I'm like, you don't understand. The token is non-transferable until we hit bond. And they're like, well, we won't work for you then. And I'm like, well, I can't do anything until then. So it's just, we're going to slowly build this stuff out, and we're going to have some fun with it and, support all of those building an 8chain.
It's kind of a chicken and egg situation right now, right? The one, I mean, I have my own blockchain development company for several years right now. And if you could shoot me a link for this AI that you talked about, that would be interesting. I'm super interested in protocols, like been like a Monero supporter from day one as well, for example. And I would like to check it out. One of the things I'm trying to figure out is like, because the thing is, at the end of the day, we live in an attention economy right now, right? So it doesn't really matter like what is the utility, what is the character, what is the name. I mean, these things are important, but if you don't have attention, then like you can have the best AI and nobody cares, right? So I'm trying to figure out, instead of like working with all these marketeers or the KOLs, which most of them are BS anyway, they're just trying to like dump your project, you know.
Yep.
So I'm trying to figure out how I can use one AI agent or maybe like multiple AI agents to kind of like become my tool to get more attention on a project. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that was sort of talked about today real quickly was AI being under scrutiny from the SEC. And so they were sort of the interview was talked about the recent action by DOJ and SEC against like market makers like CLS, Quant, and a few others that what they called
as well,
called wash trading, when in reality it's market making. And it's okay if it's a stock, but if it's a token, it's wash trading. And so that's one of those things where it's,
if it's labeled as security, then it's a crime, right?
Yeah, you know, but or no, if it's labeled as security, it's not. It's considered market making. If it's not a security and you're sending it back and forth to maintain volume like an exchange requires, then it's wash trading. And so this is one of those things that's sort of hilarious. But one of the big
like I'm not in the States, right? I'm from Germany. So what if you like purely operate, for example, in Europe and don't cater to US citizens? Wouldn't you be fine?
Yeah, you would be, to my assumption, but until more regulation is created, you know, everyone has to take it with a grain of salt, because we work in a permissionless and trustless world where we don't know if a U.S. resident is going to partake in one of our DeFi protocols. We can't fully block them out, and to be honest, we don't want to, because then we're token gating. We're like, you can participate, but you can't, and that sort of defies DeFi, you know, in my opinion. And so it's always one of those things that you know, Germany has, you know, falls under MiCA for stables and regulation. And, you know, it's one of those hard things that, you know, our company is a Cayman Island foundation, you know, so that's sort of the route we went.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bro, another quick question. I need to run also to my next meeting in like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm relatively following you now, and I'm putting notifications on to see when you go live and stuff. Since you are in Money 2020, which I think is more like a banking, traditional finance background, it's like how's the sentiment towards crypto and actions? Is it something people talk about or have thought it, or what's the sentiment right now?
Yeah, the sentiment all the way around is very bullish from those that I have talked to. Now, there is probably 10,000 people here, and I've talked to 200 of them. And so my sampling is very small so far, but everyone that is doing something in AI, they're trying to implement it in some way, shape, or form. What I have noticed is a lot of them are using just GPT wrappers. And so, like I was talking about before, they're doing it within guardrails of prompt engineering. And we know that prompt can make or break you. can get you what you want. And so, yes, people might have the same engine, but they have different frames. And so they'll get you to the same location, but in different styles. So AI agents were being really talked about. Stables are being really talked about. Ripple is a huge sponsor of 2020. Circle doesn't have a booth, but they have their team here talking with all the big institutions. Each institution, like US Bank, JP Morgan, Fidelity, they all have digital asset teams. One of the funny things I noticed, one of the talks tomorrow that I'm going to try to go to and record is on esports and e-gaming, Web3 gaming. Yet there's not the three speakers aren't even gamers or game companies. They're just payment processors.
That's funny. Yeah. That's really funny.
Yeah. So we're just, there's a lot here. And zero hash is here. And I think that there's a lot of people are moving towards having that what they look at is having it as settlement plus zero. So instantaneous settlement. That's where they look at it from. And so
yeah. Do you think they're gonna try to build this knowledge in-house, or they're rather work with people who have experience like you and I for several years?
Yes. And they are building it. They just aren't deploying it in any way, shape, or form. It's in their research arms and stuff like that because they're overbuilding. JP Morgan launched 7 different versions of Onyx chain because they weren't sure which version that they could actually launch within regulation.
They even deploy their own site on Avalanche or some stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but again, do the stuff in house with their own people in the training, or they have external consultants or companies that do the work for them.
They do it internally, but then they use SMEs as well. Subject matter experts. So that's terminology.
Consultants on project basis, something like that.
Yeah? Yep. So they do some cool stuff. They're open to innovation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, mate. I gotta hit it. My next call is already online.
All right.
Keep up the good content, keep the convo, and definitely we're connected. If you can shoot me a DM letter, this with privacy AI would be dope, and then we stay in contact.
Will do. And one of the other major projects to put on your radar, if it's not already, but Morpheus. Morpheus.
I saw 8 years by this tutorial guy. So that's another one, right?
Yep. I'll send you some information. I'll send you their Twitter link as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And maybe before I forget, when we talk about the next time, I'm super interested to dive deeper into Wire Network. Are you familiar with that?
I am highly familiar with Wire Network.
Awesome, man. We can have a nice follow-up discussion about that.
Definitely. I might call Wire Network and have them come join that call too.
Nice.
Yeah. So
okay. I will actually be at Blockchain Week tomorrow and the day after, and see what they have in store for AI agent and stuff. And then the day after, there is the main Dawn conference. Tom fed up a little bit, with the whole drama around the Pavel and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I will do you and just talk to as many people as possible and try to get a good feeling what people are currently looking for.
Yep.
And then I don't know if I have time during these 4 days, but then during we could just DM, or afterwards we can have a nice call.
Definitely. Wednesday I actually see Ken from Wire Network. I think I'm speaking on a panel with him.
Nice, very nice. Cool. All right. Yeah, keep me in the loop, man. Like asynchronously, we can always chat. That's always possible.
Definitely, Cairo.
All right, take it easy.
Au revoir. You have a great night.
Let's bond, Taco.
Let's fucking go. Let's bond. All right, that is awesome. I love it when people come up on stage and we get to talk about random things, but also within topics of things that excite of what people are building. We do need to call it a night because it is 2:51 a.m. here in Las Vegas, and we have to be up at like 6:30 to start day 3 of Money 2020. And we also have the opening event night tomorrow night or technically tonight, of Money of Tokenize. And so we will see you guys later. And as always, we end every episode with the same 2 things: our words of wisdom and the greatest worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet. And as always, our words of wisdom are always the same. Closed mouth cannot be fed, and cannot be closed mouth, meaning if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come a knocking. If opportunity does come knocking and no one answers, going to keep on walking. And with that, I want to wish everyone a great GM. And I hope you have an amazing Taco Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. But knock, knock. Who's there?